just going to fill up my beard throughout this, all right?
You do that, lads. That is what the intro's for, lads. Again, lads, nothing gets you in the mood than a bit of Alan Partridge.
It's probably best you didn't answer that question, actually.
Yeah, actually, it was a good shout. Hello, everybody. It's your old friends at Monday Madness, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Liquid Football Podcast.
Woo!
Joined as ever. We have a full room tonight. And when I say full room, I mean three. And when I say room, I mean Zoom call.
Virtual room, yes.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. We're joined by our usual suspects, Neil and Bertbot. As ever, going to run down a full week of Premier League football because it has, in fact, been a full week of football.
It has.
We had European football, we had League Cup football, Zlatan getting the coronavirus in Tala. Oh, man, it's just been everything. It's everything you wanted in a week of football.
Yeah, if there was one sentence that summed up 2012 in football, it's Zlatan catches the coronavirus in Tala.
Yes. I choose to believe specifically off Aaron Green. Specifically off.
Yes, we're going to narrow it down.
Just, you can isolate it. It's contract tracing at its finest, lads. I'm just saying. We've got our ducks in a row. Bertbot, welcome back to the show. You had a 1 week hiatus because we said that you were chasing elephants in the safari. Can you confirm or deny if you secured any elephants?
I did not capture or kill them, but I just petted them.
That's good.
Aww.
Well, that's, you know what? At least you found some. That is the main thing.
And reconnected and learned how to communicate with them again.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We had great conversations.
That's good. That's good. And that's all that matters is connections, people. Connections. This is a very wholesome intro to the podcast. Let's move on with our regular business. As always, so like I said, we have only 1 week of football to talk about, but let's get into it. Let's talk about the Premier League rundown.
Oh, yeah. Fucking hell. I'm never going to get used to that.
It's a bit jarring at first, but don't worry, you get used to it. Is what I always say when I'm playing the Gladiators music in any former life. So, we've had a full match day, lads. Match day 2. As we all know, the season is always settled in the second match day, which is why we're doing this podcast, just to settle out the league once and for all. So congratulations, Everton, you've won.
Yeah, Everton have officially won the league.
Yes, congratulations, lads. I hope you
Imagine, the hubris of Neil trying to say that.
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh.
I could only say that because I'm 4 points in and so obviously taking the piss.
Yeah, exactly. There is an actual veneer. There's a kayfabe to everything. We're not serious when we say Everton's going to win the league. We will say it in a jokingly manner. There'll be some canned laughter in the background, and that's it.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's never going to become apparent, I hope. Anyway, starting off then, so we've kind of ranked these in kind of time-wise significance. So the first match we're going to talk about briefly is Villa 1, Sheffield 0. Or should we say VAR 1, Sheffield 0. Because that's basically what happened. John Egan being done the dirty, as it seems to be the case now with this game. Villa Sheffield just has to resort to VAR shambles, I think is the best way of putting it. It's okay, granted, Villa eventually used the one-man advantage to win, but Sheffield were more or less in it still for most of the game, and they had a penalty saved. So,
it's Twitter, Arsenal Twitter really blew up with Martinez saving a fucking penalty in his first game away from Arsenal.
Yeah,
a team that ritually never has a goalkeeper that can save a fucking penalty. It's oh yeah, he saves it now, but he fucking leaves.
It's funny how
world was happy. I was happy for him though.
I was delighted for him.
Yeah, no, he's a good egg.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So he saved the penalty and kept a clean sheet. So you can't actually, for the goalkeeper, there's literally no better debut. It was just unbelievably, like, it was great. I don't even mind, but Lundstrom actually hit the penalty really fucking well.
Yeah.
Like, they're hard to his right. So, like, it wasn't as if he, like, tried to penake it and, like, he guessed it or he hit it at a really easy height. He didn't. Like, he actually tried to tuck it inside the right-hand post. And he actually hit it right for that, and just Martinez just flung himself, and it was just
a spring. It's a spring across the line that just impressed me. It's like fuck, because like
pretty much, yeah.
There was a lot of penalties like this weekend, and like a lot of it was made about, like, as we'll talk about later on, about De Gea and him coming off his line, and you saw the likes of Alisson and Martinez kind of showing how it's done in a sense, at least under the new ruling, and they just fucking great penalty saves.
What I found quite funny about that, like you mentioned up like Martinez and Alisson, both of them are larger men, far larger men, particularly in the case of Alisson.
Yeah.
Far larger men than De Gea, and it seems like they both can move faster than he can, and it's kind of like, it's just really weird.
Well, I'm going to make a few points about the United game later on, because I think it's all tied into a very common thread. So tune in a couple of minutes when we get onto that.
Any case, Villa, 20 million, well spent. Any Villa fan who's not delighted with any Villa fan who thought they got their pants pulled down by Arsenal over that, they're like, what? No. If anything, we underpaid.
Do you not think it's a bit weird that Aston Villa are actually making good signings again?
Not really.
Like, they got Watkins.
It's bound to happen eventually.
Bertrand Traore, who fucking hit the ground running in the League Cup, and then Martinez, who's like the perfect number one for the needs. Like, after like years of like being like a little bit daft with their money or overspending, let's say, now they suddenly go like, yes, we've now signed players that are worth that money, and they're ones that we actually need for the team, as opposed to like just signing Gareth Barry again. It's weird. I don't know. It's unusual. So moving on then to the thrashing at St James's Park, which was Brighton 3, Newcastle 0. Just got outplayed in the first 5 minutes, and they didn't do anything in the next 85 to fix that. It's pretty simple.
No, it was really weird. Like, their heads didn't exactly go down, but they weren't trying to get into it.
Yeah, it's weird. I think they just didn't have a footing.
It was like, yeah, I felt like they were constantly in second gear. Like, they were kind of like, oh, it's Brighton, we will just pick them apart with like a long ball and a header to the big guy up top.
Yeah.
And that just didn't happen because Brighton played really well.
Yeah, they do. They play really well. I thought we'd take a few minutes to kind of to stand the best player in the world, which is Tariq Lamptey. I don't know if any of you want to chime in on that.
In all fairness, though, he was really fucking good. And the thing is that, like, they were just chopping him down by the end of it. Like,
they had no other option. They just take the fucker down.
They were just hacking him to bits by the end of it, and I was just laughing because the fouls were so blatant. They weren't even attempting to go, oh, ref, I got the ball. I was going for the ball. And I was like, no, lad, I went to take that fucker out.
Yeah.
Just give me the yellow. I meant it.
Yeah. Whatever. Just stick it onto my chest. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just gold star for efforts.
But that's good. No, in all fairness, he absolutely terrorized them. It was unbelievable. I think talking about making your fucking point as a 19-year-old, he absolutely made his mark. And I guarantee you, like, you're going to see a lot more of him.
Well, like I said, Chelsea let him go for 1.8 million. And again, I might be wrong about this, but I don't think they have a sell-on clause either. So
they have a sell-on. They don't have a buyback.
Yes, that's
what's angry. Yeah. That's why they're angry about it.
No, you're right. Sorry. So, Barbara, do you want to chime in there? As we
I was just going to say, like, Basuma got Lamptey's back and got revenge.
I love that. I love that.
Drinking, you fucking.
To say, lads, fucking Shawn Michaels would be proud of that, man. That was a fucking, quite literally sweet chin music. You could hear the fucking drum beat as a hit. Fucking great.
It was so incredible. Like, he got sent off with VAR, and when you see the initial foul, I was like, how the fuck is that only a yellow card? And then VAR obviously just tweaked the ref. I was like, you might want to go to the sideline and take another look at this.
Like, the guy was actually genuinely cutting open. Like, he was cut.
Oh no, like Giroud style scorpion kicked it. Only instead of a ball, it was the opponent's head. And, so yeah. But I mean, in all fairness, if you want to like a real kind of statement of how this match went, it was Lamptey went off after 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And he still got man of the match, despite the fact that he didn't score any of the goals. Nor I don't even think he racked up an assist.
I may have got the assist for the no, not for the penalty. For the
he wasn't.
No, he actually didn't. He actually didn't. You're right. He didn't get anything.
No. So I think the right back got man of the match despite having no assists, no goals, and only playing 60 minutes, and he got man of the match. That's how good a game he had. And pretty much that's it. Like you're going, we've got a real little star in our hands, I think, and they're just gonna play him until he rips a fucking ligament, and then he's out for 2 years. Yeah,
it's like it's always like they're like England have just got this absurd like golden age of fullbacks, and they're all weirdly right backs as well. And yet Gareth Southgate will still go, Kyle Walker. Yeah, Kyle Walker. Yeah,
just can't get past Kyle Walker. Just can't get past.
How can
he not get past Kyle Walker? He's so fucking slow.
The man is like 10 feet wide. I think it's like he's got his surname is like Gareth Southgate's favorite brand of crisps as well.
Oh, that could be it. Actually,
that's it,
every time he has a packet of crisps, he's like, "Oh yeah, Walker, nice."
Is that why Danny Rose got in the team all the time? Is because like, yeah, actually, I do fancy a bit of rose lemonade now that you mention it.
No, he's just constantly listening to Seal's "Kiss from a Rose."
How does that explain Eric Dyer then? Is he just a fan of EastEnders? Is that it? Like,
yeah, Dyer by name, Dyer by nature.
Indeed. So moving on then to fuck me, there's a lot of goals this weekend. Namely,
the most 39.
39, fucking hell. Long may it continue, by the way, because this is fun. Leicester 4, Burnley 2 was a fun game. Very much a clash of styles. You have the Sean Dyche fuck-offery, and then you have Brendan Rodgers, football is the best way to describe it. Yeah.
By the way, we've listened to the most recent Arse blog, so we have been
traumatized
and can no longer talk about either Brendan Rodgers or Good Boys.
Now, okay, explain this to me because I'm completely out of the loop here.
Right.
Okay, well, Arseblog mentioned that while we played them in the Cup, he could hear Shark Tooth Brendan Rodgers very clearly because of the lack of crowd noise.
Yeah, if you were watching a channel that didn't have the artificial crowd noise, you could hear the two main sounds were the ball being cracked around and Mikel Arteta screaming in like 4 different languages. And also Brendan Rodgers. But he made the comment that Brendan Rodgers seemed it didn't even seem like he was coaching a team. It seemed like he was trying to train a dog because all he did was say, good boy.
Good boy, good boy, good boy.
Good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy.
And then Arseblog reenacted a scene from My Nightmares where he had a gardener be a good boy. And it is a horrific audio tale straight from the depths of my nightmares. And it is now like I will never not think of Brendan Rodgers as a psychosexual fucking garden rapist.
Yeah, pretty much.
That implies he actually has sex with the gardens as opposed to like
no. It stems. It's by the way the skit was Downton Abbey themed because Leicester had a player on the pitch with the poshest surname known to fucking man of Dewsbury Hall. So Dewsbury Hall was the gardener with turnips for hands. That was called.
He was a good boy.
He was called into Brendan Rodgers' office to not sit on a chair but sit on his lap and bark like a good boy, while Brendan Rodgers constantly said "good boy." But I think what really got it for me, and this is what triggered it for me, was the voice that Andrew Mangan, Arseblog, uses for Brendan Rodgers is eerily reminiscent of the Frankie Boyle sketch for Michael Jackson's Children's Hospital.
Oh, it's like a little bit like that, is it? Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah.
It's like Michael Jackson. It was like Dewsbury Hall.
Oh, Dewsbury Hall. Oh, I can see where you get to now.
Oh, no,
It's
stop.
so bad.
Stop,
It's so
stop.
like honestly, pop on the Spotify, and it's actually quite good because he does interview one of the scousers from the Anfield Rap.
Oh yes,
the upcoming 2 games
no,
we have against Liverpool. So it's actually quite good. He goes into a lot of depth, and he's quite complimentary of Arsenal as well. He's he brings home a lot of home truths about last year, but it's actually really good.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
And like the last 5 minutes after, because when you told me about it, and then the ending jingle came up, I was like, "What's she talking about? What the fuck's she talking about?" And then it started, and I was like, "Oh god," because he always has stuff on after his ending jingle.
Yes.
But Jesus Christ, that I thought it was going to be something really sad, because I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, and one of the podcasts I've been listening to recently is Mark Maron's podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he's kept his going after, like, his girlfriend recently died, and he kept it going after she died. So a lot of his podcasts are like him going on for 20 minutes and then breaking down, just crying, and he's putting it out there. And I was like, shit, I can't handle any more like really sad shit I can hear on the podcast. And then I listened to that, and I was like, no, I really can't handle that either.
It's like the 2 opposing scales, isn't it? It's like sadness, but also traumatizing.
Give me the person crying in traumatic horror over that any fucking day of the week.
Yeah.
Yuri Tillmans.
No.
We know how now. If Burpo's having a rant, we now know how to reset her. It's just
God, no!
Excellent.
You know how to? She'll just fucking hang up.
Yeah, that's fair.
I won't blame her.
Good. But yeah, like Leicester were good in this game. Mostly Harvey Barnes just doing bits. Dennis Price.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Leicester. Yeah.
Curiously, Barnes was not really much into this game again. Like, he was a bit fucking anonymous, which is a bit odd for him. Like, I think it's maybe because of the way they're stepping up now. They're trying to like kind of take a bit of like responsibility off Vardy, and he just kind of picks up goals in the penalty box and penalties and that. But
it's kind of weird. They're trying to really bring Under into it. I found like they got a nice speedy Turkish winger.
Yes,
just like, let's give the ball to him. It was sort of slightly reminiscent of how Liverpool played against Chelsea when Thiago came on, and it seemed like every single Liverpool player was like, "Oh, give the ball to him."
Yeah, and shockingly, it looks good. Like, funny enough. Again, we'll get to that later on. Moving on then to the Arsenal game. Arsenal 2, West Ham 1. Not at all. Not a pleasant evening for you guys, it has to be said. You still won though, which is good.
Yeah, no, I mean,
yeah. It like just watching this match was kind of a bit deflating, because we've had a good week. Like, we bet Fulham 3-0. It was nice and fun. Aubameyang signed a thing.
He did sign the thing. Was there
all of these good things happened, and then it was just like the first 15 minutes is like, are you Emery? What is this? Has David Moyes learned how to football manage? And then in the second half, it was like, oh, no, it's all okay. We were a lot, like, it was still scrappy because of the nature of West Ham and how they play. But we played decent, and we had Marlo Stansfield, Eddie Nketiah, who slot home the late winner. And
bundle it home hilariously.
Yeah. Nice, crisp bundle across the line.
I was a fan of Lacazette's goal as well. Just the cracking header on it, like.
Yeah.
It's like one of those headers where it's just auto cue to go in. Like, it's just like it's magnetic. It's like,
oh yeah, no, it was one of those headers where, like, when it goes off his head, you're like, oh no, that's in. Like, you start celebrating the instant he connects with it.
It's like even if there's someone on the line to stop it, they're going over the line with it.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in.
Like the Van Dijk goal,
fucking it was a stark contrast to Gabriel's header. It scuffed in off his shoulder between the goalkeeper's legs. This is how you do it, you fuck.
What the fucking Arsenal? But yeah, you see, that's what Moisey does, though. In fairness, like he does drag like teams into a dogfight. You know, like he'll dig in, he'll like have a kind of flat backs, and then like if you frustrate the team long enough, then he's going like, yes, now they're playing on our level, the shit level,
it's
point in
weird.
the standing.
He was also helped out by the fact that Tierney managed to injure his hip in the warm up.
Yeah, that didn't help many things because he's my fucking captain this week. So thanks, Tierney.
I don't see why you'd put him. Like, why would we keep a clean sheet, Jonathan? Why?
Well, do you know what? You're quite right, Bert. But it's the last time I put any faith in you fuckers for points.
Despite the fact in the last 3 games in all competitions we've only conceded 1 goal.
Yeah,
but it's us, Neil. You can't have this hope.
No, you see, the thing is, right? I've been infected. I've got the hope. I've got the hope.
You got to get
clean. I told you this before. I've got the hope.
You got to get rid of it.
Yeah, you have to watch out for that fella because
I got the third kit there the other day, and I'm just like, yes.
Neil, did you self-isolate for 2 weeks beforehand?
I probably need to. I'll need to self-isolate for the entire fucking season if I keep going like this.
Oh, don't worry. We're going to be self-isolating for another season anyway, so you're grand.
No,
you got that sorted.
What was good about it is, it was actually typical West Ham. Like, West Ham really kind of sort of owned the brand, the patent on, fronting up against top 6, top 7 teams, and then absolutely playing like complete fucking dumpster fires against teams that are below them that they should really be beating.
It's bizarre, isn't it? Like,
absolutely.
How on earth do you be on your best for a match against Man City and lose 3-1, but you put the willies up them, but then suddenly, it's Brighton. Fuck, there you go. Fuck.
They're losing 4-0 to Brighton. Talking to a load of Hammers fans prior to this game and after this game as well, and we're just like. That's pretty much West Ham in a fucking nutshell, they'll put the shits up a revived, better than has been for the last 5 years Arsenal team, but then they'll go and get absolutely rolled 3-0 by Fulham.
Scott Parker's Fulham, no less. That's what makes all the difference.
But that's just it. But it was great. I will say one thing, this. Saka really fucking ran this game. It was his 2 passes that really set up both goals.
Yeah.
Lovely little jinking inside turns. And there's heavy talk that when we revert to a 4-3-3, the third midfielder on the left won't be either Partey or 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 anything like that. It'll be him.
Interesting. Playing more centrally.
Yeah.
Into the channel,
yeah.
See that. I can see that.
He's quick enough to operate there, and
because it's basically how you end up with a Wobie, didn't you? He kind of played in that kind of inside channel.
Essentially, yeah. But imagine if we had a Wobie, but with an 10 times more skill, and he's 19
and better. just
so
Wobie, but better.
Yeah, that was it. So,
happy days. Moving on then to the other side of North London, as they beat Southampton 5-2. Fucking weird game, lads. Weird game.
This was bizarre because I was watching this and I was like, ha ha ha, Southampton are fucking rolling the spuds. This is fantastic. And then Son and Kane decided to do bits and it was like, oh, you guys are meant to be so shit. Don't do this.
Worst first half I've ever seen.
Yeah. Here's the thing with that, you can't allude to say, okay, granted, Spurs have scored 5 goals, and mainly it's because of Son and Kane playing really well between each other. But that should not disguise the fact that this team is in a bad way,
The rest of the team could not string up 2 passes together. It was purely just Son and Kane working together. And in fairness, it's the least selfish I've ever seen Kane play.
I was about to make this point. I was about to make this point because a lot has been made about Gareth Bale and how he's going to fit into this Tottenham team. And I have a thought on that. I think Harry Kane's being repackaged as number 10.
Doubt it, because he was helped out in this game by Southampton defending utter fucking dickheads. If you watch back the goals, he makes the exact same assist 3 fucking times.
Yeah.
And they just don't pick him up. At one point, he's so slow to sling in the cross that Son has to slow his run to he is literally walking towards where Kane is going to deliver the cross, because Kane is so slow that if Son moves at anything quicker than a run, he's going to be offside. And so literally, like, he is being overtaken by stationary objects.
Yeah.
And the Southampton defence still cannot catch him.
Don't get me wrong.
Nobody looks at him.
Don't get me wrong. Like, if a player like combination of Son and Kane has done that 4 times, the issue is not with the team that's scoring.
Yeah.
It's the issue with you.
Exactly. If they do the same, like, don't get me wrong. Like, if a player pulls some fucking mercurial burst of skill out of his fucking arse and whips it top corner, you're like, all right, then fine. But if all he has to do is walk and stroke a cross in, and the other player has to literally slow to a crawl so that he doesn't beat the offside trap all on his own. And it was terrible. It was absolutely, It was the most abject defending I've ever seen. And if any Southampton, like, no Southampton player can walk out of that and go, well, fucking hell. Like, it was terrible.
Same story against Palace, though. Like, the defending was really bad for the Palace game, too, and they kind of got away with it.
Yeah.
With only being 1-0.
Like, when Son and Kane realise, oh, hang on, if I go over here and you go over there, they're going to just pay attention to me. But because they're really crap defenders, they're not going to be able to stop me crossing the ball. And if they're all on me, nobody's marking you. I've got something for this. I got to
practically go around everywhere.
Like, even Harry Kane could do that, Matt. Like,
even Harry Kane could do that, Matt. You know, even Harry Kane, and he only needed to take off one mitten.
Yeah.
So it was just terrible. Like, if anybody's wanted like a really kind of taste of that game, go back and watch the goals and watch the assists. They're all the same.
They're all the same. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, I think what like Mourinho's trying to do here, because obviously Dele Alli's been frozen out by almost by design.
You're trying to guess what Mourinho's going to do. This is going to be fun.
Oh, I know. Trust me, it's an art form in of itself trying to understand what's going through that man's head. But I think
have no idea what's going through that man's head.
I think what the logic is, going by how he kind of sees Kane as obviously he's the captain, so I'm going to have to use him the most. Again, bizarre Mourinho logic here, especially considering it's Harry Kane and his hamstrings are made of fucking paper. But the thing is that with Bale, right, I don't see him playing like out wide, right? I see him playing like how he does for Wales, which is basically as the main striker, which obviously is not his most natural position. But I think the idea is to keep like Bale and Kane fit by basically having them do the least work in that front 4. So you still have like Son and Moura in their natural positions, and Bergwijn when he's back, all doing the wide part and doing the
but surely enough, like, if that makes any sense, then he'd want Ali to kind of help him, because he'd be the best person to progress that forward. I mean, he's the best person going forward in that team outside of Son. So there's no point in alienating Ali the way he's done, and he's properly alienated him. Like, he's on Amazon. Like, you got pop onto fucking Netflix, and you've got a documentary where he's calling him a lazy cunt in training
several times in the first episode. Like, it was seen as a joke then, but like obviously Mourinho's saying it every week because he is clearly that lazy.
Like, it's mad. There's kind of like a weird neuron that fires off in his head where he thinks, oh, I need to hammer the young players to get them to play better. But in actual fact, it's like, nah, young players don't respond to being called lazy pricks every fucking day in training.
Who knew? I love as well, like, by the way, because I have watched a lot of the All or Nothing now as well. I love that. Like, I'm 6
It's fucking brilliant, isn't it?
It's a work of art. Like, it's a great mixture of club propaganda, but also like this weird like peek behind the curtain when you know it's all bollocks. Like, Daniel Levy kind of positioned himself to be this nice,
it's a really weird. It's
guy.
a really weird kind of club propaganda in that it's not really propagandized very well to make them look competent.
It is a very honest fly in the wall. I have to say that. Like,
it's very honest propaganda, you know.
Yeah. It's not the Man City one at all. Man City one is just like, I love.
Oh, the Man City one is so fucking PR washed. It's basically bleach for your eyeballs. It's terrible.
Pretty much, yeah. But what I love about the Spurs variety is that, like, I'm 6 episodes in. There's 3 more to go. Not one fucking mention of Tanga and Dombele. Not fucking one. Like, he's there. Like, he's not even in shot. Like, he's literally just been edited out. It's bizarre.
Yeah, I know. I was happy.
He's a redacted fucking pro wrestler.
If at any point he kind of saunters into frame, they'll just blur him out like he's a gigantic dick.
Listen, I had to look back at the video. I don't think I've ever seen him once.
No.
I honestly don't think he appears in the documentary at all. Like, it's weird.
But it'll be mad to see, it'll be mad to see Kane. It'll be mad to see how the Bale thing. The
I'm
Bale thing
fascinated.
just can't. What?
Curiosity is getting me to be. About
Oh, absolutely. But it's curiosity. Like, it can't work out. It just can't.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of reminded me of the Alex Morgan to Spurs kind of transfer, where it's just like, why would you want to go there? Also, why? Also, what are you going to be like after not playing for several months? Like, it's literally the same thing happened in the men's and the women's team.
Yeah.
A player who is absolutely world talented, arriving to Spurs after having not played for like over a year.
I really wish we could get a fucking photo of the incredulity of your face right there. It's like, Spurs.
Like,
it's just, no, I totally get that. But the thing about, like, with Bale, like, it just can't. Like, with Morgan, it is very much, she is literally the biggest fish in that tiny, tiny pond.
Yeah.
She's more followers than even the men's team have.
Yeah.
And I think I read an article there, like the women's team of like 4% of her followers. So it's just going to be hilarious.
I know, like, the stories of their training team is that, like, they had a fridge in their dressing room and the fridge broke last year. So, and Spurs they asked for a replacement fridge for their, like, food and stuff like that, and they never got one. So I'm like, this is Alex Morgan. Like, who's going to put milk in her tea for her celebration?
They're actually going to pay Harry Winks to do that.
They've got Lemmy Winks to do that. Yeah, it's going to be mad. Her first game is going to be against us, isn't it?
I'd say she's going to be on the bench. I can't imagine after, having a kid in the last year, having not trained.
Are you sure though? Because we all saw the videos of her. Like, she was 7 months pregnant and like fucking
keep-ups, like.
But skilling it, like, proper on a training pitch, skillage at 7 months pregnant. I'm like, holy shit, I can't move like that now.
I'd say she's going to make a cameo. I'd say because the BBC have got the rights to show the game, and they know they're going to have the audience, like, the Spurs are going to use this.
Yeah,
they're gonna have. I mean, they've got fucking, like. Did you see, like, Spurs had like big billboards announcing her arrival up in Leicester Square of all fucking places. I'm going, what the fuck? Like, she's literally bigger. But the thing, as well as that, like, Morgan,
she's literally bigger than your club.
Quite literally bigger than your club and the men's one put together. But the thing about the Bale thing as well, it just can't work out. It just can't. You're paying 20 million quid and it's not going to work out. It just can't. It's like, when you watch a fail video of a guy preparing to do a jump. He spends like 30 to 35 seconds building it up, bigging up the crowd. The hubris is building. It's like he's fucking Matt Hardy and he's about to swanton bomb The Undertaker at fucking WWE. And you just know he's going to completely fuck the jump, screw the landing, wind up with spinal injuries, and we are all going to laugh. And it's just, it can't work. It's Mourinho. It cannot work.
But it's the second season at Spurs, Neil. It's the one where everything works for him. It works well at United. Look how much he won at United.
Just can't. They think they're signing like a more seasoned variant of the 2012 Bale.
No, I know.
And the 2012 to 2014 Bale was literally one of the best players I've ever seen.
Very different beast now.
Also, like, he's going to have to play like Jose Mourinho's style of football.
Exactly. That's man, what the fuck? Like,
this is the thing you see. Like the way Mourinho sets up, like, it's very defensive. He just lets the attackers do their own thing. So like that's the point. Like if you have Bale and Kane having this bizarre like second striker partnership, they're not doing that much. They're not doing that much work. It's Son and Moore doing all the legwork and whatever, and Doherty now down the right flank. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they have literally like the idle players, the lazy players are doing the less work, but they're going to be scoring the goals. It's going to be such a weird relationship that, like, I'm just curious about how it's going to play out. Like, I just had this inane curiosity. It's like seeing a corpse or something. It's like I have to see. I just want to know. What does it look like? What happens? It's
brilliant.
Anyway,
is that going to be Morgan's face when she's looking for her milk for her tea? Yeah.
I'm a World Cup winner.
There's a double World Cup winner.
just there holding her milky tea, going wings.
No, there's a brilliant. I don't know if you've seen we've just tweeted there that Tim Stillman is an Arsenal writer and stuff like that, and he's just had a daughter. So people have printed out T-shirts for him and his daughter and his wife for the North London Derby tomorrow, and it's the Midima sulk pose with underneath "Where's my milk?"
Perfect.
And I was just going, yes. It just literally just pinged in right there, right as we were talking about the Morgan.
The Morgan wanting milk for her cup of tea.
It's funny how the algorithm works.
Going to be excellent.
Yes, moving on then to our top 5. Wolves, or rather Man City, kicking off their Premier League campaign with a 3-1 win against Wolves. I watched this match. It was okay. City started off very well and more or less coasted on through then. But Wolves did bother them in the end. You'd have thought that Adama Traore was kind of the main outlet, but he actually wasn't. He was kind of well marshalled. Or rather, like, I think the problem with Adama is that, like, he's a brilliant sub. He's great for half an hour and then just giving people ultimate grief. But when he's starting, people kind of get used to him in a way. Like, he can, like, someone like Walker could track him, and
it also doesn't help when he's told, like, he's that kind of deep lying wing back where he can just like hit the afterburners and fucking torch down the wing. Whereas in this game, he was instructed to kind of operate almost as a left winger.
Yes,
so
he was further up the field, therefore he had less to run, which is
exactly
bizarre.
Like if you don't give him kind of like a runway,
yeah,
for lack of a better term, he can't get off the ground. And so there is, there's that. So they deployed him not very well.
But I can see what they were trying to do though, because what they were really doing was releasing Podence to have a lot more chance, because they kind of expected like people are going to be watching Adama like a hawk and like marking him out. But then when it came to like Podence, they all forgot about him. And I think the partnership with Stones and Ake, which is not great, I'll be honest. Man City have a fucking serious injury crisis, apparently, which is why like that.
Yeah, apparently Pep says he only has 13 fit players.
Yeah,
and I can just see Joe Montemurro just being like, 13. That's way too many, man.
You need to get the kit man on the fucking bench for that, pal. Yeah.
Is that Pep's going like, I have to use young players. Bring me the son of Rory Delap.
Yeah, exactly. Quite literally. But it doesn't help when he says that like he's got 13 fit players and those 13 fit players are worth like a combined £2.4 billion.
Yeah, he still hasn't anything to give out about, in fairness.
Yeah,
but
he's nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on then. So like I said, it was a decent enough game for what it was. Wolves pretty much could have been better. I'll be honest.
But did shoot themselves in the face. That was a Stonewall, definite Stonewall penalty.
Yes.
Didn't really help themselves out.
Nope. And the Foden goal was well taken, by and large. And yeah, they just like Podence missed 2 fucking great chances, and that could have put them ahead, in the space of 2 minutes. Like Man City were rattled for like the second half, and the Jesus goal kind of just calmed everything down. If, as I said, if Nuno played his cards right and was a bit more savvy about the Traore over Podence, then yeah, you'd argue they would have given him more of a scare. But it's fine.
As per usual, the answer is always more arm grease.
More arm grease, absolutely.
More arm grease.
And by the way, the Man City third kit is more atrocious the more you look at it.
Oh my god, it's so fucking horrible in the flesh, isn't it?
Do you know what it is, right? You don't see the design from the camera, from the hard cam, right? All you see is a Spurs kit.
Eyeball. Oh.
That's what you. That's all you see.
An edit of it was just like a screen grab of a play during the match, and they've actually just pixelated the Man City players, and it was like not safe for work.
I guarantee people reporting that tweet just for the laugh of it. It's like, not report as porn.
Yeah, appropriate content. Yeah, but no, we are going to try and do like a kit rundown at some point when Brighton and Burnley get their fucking act together and release their third kits. So we'll see like who wins that particular league table. But yeah, not great shakes from City there. What was great shakes, lads, was Leeds 4, Fulham 3. Leeds are going to be fucking fun this year.
Well, at least
Bamford
Leeds have
and
got
a
the 4 and the
stupid
3
head.
on the fucking right side of the scoreline now.
And
Let's-
2 penalties still.
Hmm?
There's still 2 penalties in the game. Like, I mean, how that is consistency at its finest.
More like madness.
Close. Well, the both of them. I think you find it very similar, Neil. You know, consistency, madness. You know.
But no, it was crazy.
Burkbot, seeing that you weren't here last week, I would value your opinion on Patrick Bamford getting 2 goals in 2 games.
Bam, bam, Bamford, baby. Yeah.
He's got a stupid head, and that is all I will say on the matter.
So you're not going to comment on the fact that he is currently one of the most prolific strikers in the Premier League?
So it's
Game's in,
Lacazette.
man.
Yeah, but still, you know, just...
Joe
I'm
Root
just-
scored 2 hat-tricks in 2 matches, so like, you know,
Yeah.
suck on that, Bamford, and your stupid head.
just
I will say one thing though, Helder Costa. What a way to fucking have a score in your debut. Like, what a fucking debut goal.
he did score in the Liverpool game. Or sorry, he didn't
He
score.
scored in Fulham against Fulham, didn't he? He scored.
He did score in the Fulham, but it wasn't his debut. He was.
He wasn't. Yeah, fuck.
He played the Liverpool
He
game.
scored twice. He scored
Yeah.
twice against Fulham.
That's right, yeah, the first and the last game goal. They're just fucking great, well taken. Like it was a carbon copy of the Harrison goal from Liverpool. It's the way it's a crossfield ball from Phillips, first touch, knock it past the centre back and hit it. Like it's just so fucking well done. I love watching Leeds. More of the same, please. If you can keep this up for 36 games, I'm a fucking happy camper.
Yeah, it's just gonna be ludicrous. It's absolute ludicrous play. Even made even more with the fact that I had Mateusz Klitsch in my FF team
Nice.
on the bench.
Oh, hate fucking that.
I had Emi Martinez on my bench, and I'm still bitter about it.
You got 13 fucking points.
I know.
God, I know.
In any case, no, just mental. Like Fulham went at them, and just the Leeds were like, "No, we've got more firepower than you," and they just blasted them away. It was an incredible match to watch. If you were a neutral, actually, if you were any fan of football, you were loving this. Even if you were a Fulham fan, you were kind of enjoying this game.
Yeah, because it's a bit of a roller coaster. Because like they got blown away a bit, came back, blown away again, and then suddenly 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. Like weird. Like it's just a weird game. But this is what Leeds is like now. It's just ebb and flow of goals. It's just like we'll just somehow just change it for a while so that we're scoring goals. Then we'll switch it back to conceding goals. Then switch it back to scoring.
It's kind of like how American football is played. You know, you attack. Okay, then now we attack. Okay, then now we attack. Okay, then you attack.
Bielsa is a big fan of basketball. You see,
he's a big fucking fan.
That's why he sits on a bucket, you know, so he can watch the court a bit more.
But it was crazy. It was brilliant, and I loved it. Indeed. And I will definitely be watching the next Leeds game.
Indeed, and as I say, they are officially league entertainers now. We've lost. Us and City have lost that match, and now everyone's going to watch Leeds.
Yep, the LFC, big top on fun.
You have to say it's a genius move because like they're going to get all the TV money. People will want to watch like Leeds matches on TV, so they get the most money from the broadcasters, which then they can spend it on their squad to get even more exciting and crazy players. Big brain move, lads. Break stonks. So, moving into our top 3, the other 5-2 scoreline from this weekend: Everton 5, West Brom 2.
What the fuck?
Yeah, do you know? I agree. What the fuck?
In all fairness, I think we should just leave it there.
I think that's enough of a review.
What the fuck? That's it.
Like,
all of
that's
our.
all I have. I have nothing else.
I don't either. You know, we've got like the phoenix from the flames of Seamus Coleman emerging yet even more as he ran Kieran Gibbs off the pitch after he showed.
Who are you? Who the fuck do you think you are?
No, he's like, are you going to do it again? That's what he was saying.
Oh, big man, aren't you?
Oh, like because after Gibbs shoved Rodriguez in the face and Rodriguez went down, and it was a definite red card. You just can't.
Yes.
Can't make any contact with the head of an opposition player like that. You just can't. But
it's like very a notion that the year is 2020 and Kieran Gibbs gave James Rodriguez a slap.
Exactly, and then retorted that he would do it again. And then Coleman ran him off the pitch going, "You'll do it again? You'll do it again? You'll do it a fucking again."
800 years, you
It
cunts.
was intensifying at that point.
The fucking Republican blood was boiling at that point.
Absolutely, yeah. He just sort of pulling on a balaclava and capping his ass.
Seamus Coleman today has been confirmed that he is indeed in the RA.
Yes, absolutely.
Quite right. Yes.
But it was mental. Like, Jesus, just when you think you've got everything sussed out, after season of just dog shit performances, you think, yeah, there's going to be another one. Fucking hell.
This is the weird thing about this, right? Because, like...
even Michael Keane was scoring goals. You've even got Keane scoring goals.
I wouldn't count him as a goal. He was just happened to be in the way.
Calvert-Lewin fucking racked home a hat-trick.
And one of them was a back heel.
Hat-trick! He went home with the ball and he didn't have to nick it.
And even the Bromley goals were fucking great. Like, Diangana running the fucking length of the pitch.
Diangana, yet again, reinforcing the point as to why West Ham should have never sold him.
Yeah, great. And then the fucking Matthias Pereira free kick was fucking great too. Up, down, in.
Absolutely.
I know it's Pickford and goal.
Swaz on that.
Yeah. Oh,
I went right off the swazometer.
Like, okay, like obviously it's Everton, so I'm not inherently like worried about them at the minute. But like, I do like I like how they've gelled things completely already a little bit.
I think that's the part that should worry you. That the fact that they're kind of gelling. I think that's what should worry you. You're like, fuck, these guys have got their shit together. Fuck.
Yeah, like it's, I don't know. Like, okay, granted, a lot of the team has to do with Ancelotti and the way he's setting them up. He is getting the fucking best out of that team. But again, it's another problem. It's the same problem that a lot of like top teams have in the league at the minute. It's the soft center. It's the fact that like for everything that's magical in their midfield, they have a beautiful midfield. Like that is the best midfield four you're probably gonna get in that like tier of Premier League football. Like Jesus, there are teams that would kill to have fucking Alan and James Rodriguez and Abdoulaye Doucouré like in that midfield, and then just pick whoever else you want as the fourth man in that barbershop quartet. Okay, strike partnership between Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin is perfect. It's good for them. It's their level. But then it's the centre backs. It's Michael Keane and Mina and Pickford.
Oh, Mina was
fuck me.
Mina on the goal, like I wouldn't even mind, but like Diagana was 70 yards away from the goal.
I know, like
ran all 70 fucking yards with Mina alongside him. I don't know, cheering him on. I was half expecting Mina to like pull out a little like cup of sweets, like little chewy sweets for him.
Just have a bottle of water, like in the fucking Tour de France. Yeah,
like a water station on a marathon run. That's how fucking feeble he was, and he was meant literally the entire 70 yards. Watch it back. The entire 70 yards, Mina run just backs off, and I wouldn't even mind. But Diagana doesn't even attempt to disguise anything other than I'm going for the ball. I'm going for the goal. I've got the ball. The goal is there. I know it's a dot on the horizon, but guess what? I'm still gonna go.
Yeah.
And like it was so obvious what he was gonna do, and I think Mina was just so terrified, utterly terrified, literally scared stiff that Diagana was gonna do him. He just wound up rolling out 70 yards of red fucking carpet.
Yeah.
And then to the edge of the box, and it just like, poof, you know. And I wouldn't even mind. Like again, you can't really blame Pickford. As much as loads of people would want to, but like
loads of people, aka Neil.
No, they get me wrong. I'll slag him off when he does something wrong. But like, if your defenders are allowing the opposition players to run 70 yards to the ball to the edge of the box and shoot completely unopposed, nobody should be looking at you.
Fair enough.
Now, what about Fleetwood Town? How did that? How do you assess that one?
That's definitely it.
That was certainly it, Chief.
Oh my god.
Yeah, terrible. Anyway, let's move on then to our second most noteworthy game of the weekend, which was Chelsea 0, Liverpool 2.
How did you enjoy that, Jonathan?
I certainly did enjoy it because, by all accounts, it's probably going to be one of our toughest games of the season, and we very much kind of got them at the right time.
In all fairness, I don't think so. I think it shows up Lampard doesn't know what to do with this team. He's completely sold out all of his young players.
Yes,
by buying in
I agree, yeah.
loads of foreign imports. It's like people are like, oh, where's Havertz going to play? I was like, he's going to play where Mount's going to play. Like if you're Mason Mount and they've just spent 78 million, wasn't it? 72 million on Havertz, you're fucked. That you're not getting your game, mate. You're absolutely fucking screwed.
Yeah.
Same with Werner. Werner's going to take over where Tammy Abraham is going to be. It's like if you're Tammy Abraham, you're like, just go, man. I don't understand why all those players are still there. They've just got to leave.
It's the thing. Like, I think the reason I say like it's gonna be on paper, it's the toughest one of the season because like obviously we gotta hit them at the right time because Pulisic is obviously their main kind of outlet in that team, and he's by far their best player. And Ziyech, I think, will be a similar vein when he does hit the ground running because he'll just do exactly the same as Pulisic is on that flank. If Havertz and Werner do link up and have that kind of that power play they're expecting, then that is a very dangerous front four to be facing, and that can flat track against they'll bully smaller teams.
The assumption that could be coached in, like the only way that's going to happen is those players get together and go, right, well, this guy as in Lampard sort of doesn't really have a clue what he's talking about. Yeah. How about when I run this way, you just pass the ball this way, and then I can get onto it. You know, so sort of like ignoring the coaching because. My God, he can't coach a defense. He's barely got a midfield. Yeah. And, you know, and they've pumped so many. They've actually adjusted for inflation. They've spent more money than when Abramovich first took over. So, like, yeah. Well, again, it goes back to my point. I'm rethinking my Steve Bruce is going to be the first manager sack prediction.
Oh,
I think it's going to be Lampard.
Interesting.
Maybe so. I can't change it because you had Lampard, didn't you? Which one you had Lampard?
I had Mourinho.
You had Mourinho.
Yeah.
With Lampard.
I think Burba had Lampard.
Didn't you have Lampard?
I'm shocked they didn't go Phil Neville.
Phil Neville will never be a Premier League manager, so that's never going to happen.
Oh my God. Imagine.
I think that's the reason why I went for Steve Bruce. I wanted to go for Mourinho, but you had him. You had to make 3 different choices. But like, oh man, if I could change it to go with Lampard because he's out of his depth. He does not know what to do. Yeah,
I think we made this point at the preview. Like, this is the signings they made is very much independent of the manager. Like, it doesn't necessarily. This is not a Frank Lampard team. Like, Frank Lampard team would have had Mount, Tomori, James, and Abraham in it.
It's just what they've done. Like, Lampard's first season was him getting applauded for bringing in all the young players and playing all the young players, and now they've replaced them all.
Yeah. And bear in mind, like, that was from necessity as well.
Huge new contracts as well. Like, all those players are on, like, they're all earning like 6 figures a fucking week.
And now they want to loan them out. Good luck with that.
They want to loan them out. And I was like, what the fuck, man? You're not going to get anybody to take those loans. Yeah. And you can't play them all because you have to play your shiny new 60, 70, 80 million, 50, 60, 70 million player in front of them. They've paid 22 million to replace their 72 million goalkeeper. They've paid, 56 million was for Werner, wasn't it?
Yeah, about that, 56.
About 55 million for Werner to replace Tammy Abraham. They paid 72 million again to replace Mason Mount. So it's like, what are you going to do with these people? Like, what are you going to do with these players? You've got hundreds of millions of pounds worth of players just sitting around in your books earning huge wages.
And bear in mind, if they get their way... go for you.
This is very similar to the Chelsea ladies, where they've literally just bought all the good players. Yeah. And it's like an embarrassment of riches. Like, you've got Fran Kirby on the Chelsea team, who I think is a phenomenal player. She was out injured for most of last season, which is where I think like Emma Hayes is like, oh, I need someone to replace Fran Kirby. I'm gonna get Pernille Harder. And then everyone's like, yeah, okay, let's get the women's record transfer, best player in the world, most expensive player in the world. Yeah, let's get Pernille Harder. Then Frank Kirby's like, I'm back, bitches.
And she goes, that's nice.
And then, and you've got Erin Cuthbert, you've got G, all of these
Beth England,
all of these unbelievable attacking players, and it's like, how are they going to keep the team happy? Like, how is that going to work?
Yeah.
And I just like, look, I actually have more faith in Emma Hayes being able to make it work than Frank Lampard being able to make it work. But it's just, like, I watched Havertz in that match, and he was shocking.
Yeah.
I don't know
terrible.
whether, like, I don't know if that was just the pressure of, making, your big game debut, I suppose, against Liverpool. But as we'll see in the next match that he plays, it's the second coming of Kai Havertz.
He has arrived against Barnsley.
Yeah, you slots home
I'd forgotten who it was. I was like, it must have been Watford or Wolves or one of them, because like I forgot who.
It's happening with the bees now. It's happening with
bees. Yeah, here we fucking go. Barnsley, Brentford, Birmingham, fucking blah blah.
Anyway, yeah.
But on your Havertz point there, like, he was almost certainly played out of position. Like, they had him play as false nine, and then Werner was kind of on the left flank to basically try and like beat Fabinho. And that was the kind of the weird talking point from the team news was that we had Fabinho partnering Van Dijk, and like Liverpool Twitter for they've had a very tumultuous summer waiting for the inevitable to happen. They've also been panicking, going like, we need a fourth centre back, we need to replace Lovren. Lovren was inseparable. We need to get fucking Lord Clavan back. And then every Liverpool source was saying, no, Fabinho's our fourth centre back, and everyone's going like, but you can't do that. You can't just take him out at number 6. Like, we're going to have Fabinho, Keita, Henderson, Wijnaldum, and Thiago all in the midfield. Like, how do you expect that to work? It's like, if you take Fabinho, okay, listen, let's sit down here now, right? 16-year-old incel. If you take Fabinho out of the midfield, you can put Thiago in. Huh? Right? And do you know what? That's what's fucking happening. Because that's what the plan was. Fabinho gets to be essentially a choice between... You now have a choice between Fabinho, Matip, and Gomez, partner with Van Dijk. And in some matches, Fabinho and Van Dijk could not possibly be stopped, because you have Van Dijk that's going to clear everything out. And Fabinho, for some of his failings, number 6, sometimes, he's fucking good at marshalling out a ball. Like, he doesn't need to put a tackle in. He's just good at positioning.
My main takeaway from that match was that all Fabinho was to do was just to marshal Werner. Anytime Werner came near the ball, Fabinho was over him like a fucking cloud, and just the ball would just trickle out of play because Werner just couldn't get around him.
Yeah. And this is what has me intrigued for the Arsenal game then, because I'm like, it looks likely that it'll be the same partnership, Van Dijk and Fabinho, because then that will put Thiago into the midfield with should be Wijnaldum and Keita. Although Minamino might have played himself into that game as well. It's hard to tell.
Maybe it's hard to tell. It's going to be a good scrap, though, I have to admit.
Yeah.
If you listen to that Arse blog that myself and Burke bought were
traumatized
scarred by, the guy from the Anfield Rap was basically just stating, like, he quoted John Barnes in saying, it's when Arsenal come round now again, like, thanks to Arteta, when Arsenal come round, it's going to be 90 minutes of hell.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fight all over the pitch. And he contrasts it with last season when Unai Emery and Arsenal rocked up to Anfield. And he's just like, there was no doubt in my mind we were going to roll Arsenal.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. But he's like, now this season, I have no idea. I know it's going to be a scrap. If we win, it's going to be by one goal. Somebody will fucking shank it in with the back of his heel. And get it cleared out by some fucking gigantic fucking South American centre back. He's like, it's going to be a fucking war of attrition. And he's like, that's kind of how Liverpool v Arsenal really should be. It should be two fucking big forces of teams kicking the shit out of each other. Yeah. And it's going to be like a dogfight. And he's like, it's probably not going to be high scoring. But if it is, it's going to be like 4-3 or some shit like that. Like, it's going to be a gunfight.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, because, like, again, that's my idea of a Liverpool Arsenal game. It's like, fuck it, 5-5 in the Carabao Cup. Let's have yous, like, come on.
Yeah, let's have it. And the thing is that, like, it's gonna be like that again. Like, we've got to, and it's all purely down to Arteta really coaching the team very well. We've got good players in now. Everybody's on the same team sheet. everybody's doing the same thing, and it's going to be really good. It's going to be great. We're going to play us on Monday and on Wednesday.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Monday, Wednesday. Yeah.
We've Liverpool Monday, Liverpool Wednesday, and then Burnley on Sunday.
Yes, I believe so.
It's a busy week.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, at least you don't have to do much traveling. That's a start, isn't it?
No, that's the only good thing.
Yeah.
But we're at Anfield. It's at Anfield on Monday, isn't it?
And Anfield on Wednesday as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
How far is Anfield from Burnley?
It's Merseyside to Lancashire, so it's a bit of a trip. But anyway.
It's going to be good, though.
Yeah. I'm fascinated by it myself because, like, Arsenal are one of the teams that I've kind of identified as teams that sussed us tactically. You know, you've
similar with Leeds. Like, I'm like, with Leeds, it was going to be the same thing. Like with Chelsea, I didn't realize when I was looking at what Lampard was doing, I was like, why are you sitting off them? Like, do what Bielsa did.
Yeah, and do like
so crazy.
That nearly worked for fucking Leeds. Bamford and his stupid head.
Bamford, baby.
You've got a multi-million euro team. Try that same like logic.
Exactly. Like Leeds went at them and attacked them and really put them on edge. And it's like, why are you sitting off them? You've gotten infinitely more expensive. I know that doesn't necessarily mean better, but fuck it.
Look at Kepa. Actually, there was breaking news during this podcast recording that Frank Lampard is set to have talks with Kepa about his future.
Well, they've bought in Mendy from Rennes.
I think that's his future sorted.
Mendy is fucking brilliant. Mendy's a good fucking goal. Now, I'll have to say one thing, like, goalkeeper watch, Mendy is brilliant. How nobody snapped him up for 22 million before now is unbelievable. He is very fucking good. I think it's kind of a similar sort of Pickford at Southampton type of thing.
Sunderland, yeah.
Sunderland. Sorry, yeah, Jesus. Wrong ass team.
It's happening to you.
Yeah,
you all laughed what happened to me.
It's happening. It's somewhat similar to Pickford in that he plays in a kind of bad team. Similar to what is happening with our second choice keeper, Runarsson.
Yes.
We got him from a poor team where he conceded quite a bit of goals, but as fundamentally superb, solid keeper.
Yeah.
And I see Mendy strolling in.
Yeah, it's curious because what I meant to say there about the tactical thing was that because what you've done is you basically neutralized our fullbacks, which was our main like source of income last season. Like nobody was able to handle the power of like Trent and Robertson together and then linking up with the forwards at the front. But you've been able to do that by basically setting up like two defensive shields in between them, which was obviously the right thing to do. And teams like Leeds and Sheffield did that quite well against us last season. And eventually Atletico actually did it relatively well in the home game too. And the reason I think I'm
Atletico and defending, that's like,
yeah, I know. It's
glove shit there, like,
yeah, exactly.
Expecting Atletico not to defend like fucking rabid dogs defending their last scrap of food.
This is it. What has me intrigued is how Thiago is going to affect that, because in theory, the reason we got him in was to now attack more centrally. And now you have players like Minamino, Shaqiri, who can play centrally. Now you have a reason to play centrally. You now have the means to do it.
It's a weird shift from physical, hard-running, damn near cybernetic midfielders to more technically refined ones. Now, don't get me wrong. I've no doubt that Minamino and Thiago can run like fuck. And they are high-class, elite-level athletes.
Yeah.
But like, it's not their running that's their main strength, it's their technique, which is a stark contrast to the players that they're going to be replacing.
That's the thing, yeah.
It's odd. I think Klopp's attempting to adjust something, and it's going to work. I think it's going to work because Klopp knows what the fuck he's doing. But it's going to be interesting to see if there's going to be any hiccups in how he goes from a midfield that was nearly damn near just all-out physical running to a midfield that is now going to contribute technically, contribute with goals, I think, which is the main aim, is to contribute with goals and late runs into the box, which is similar to what Arsenal are trying to do.
Yeah.
It's just really weird. It's not weird, but it's very good. It's very interesting. Like I'm seeing Klopp. Klopp is trying to evolve this team.
Yeah.
Because he can't just buy in new players to do what the old players are doing because people are eventually going to figure it out. So he's altering the formula somewhat.
I love that because that's what we did. That's what we've done the last 2 years. Yeah. Because like with Klopp arrived, there was the whole heavy metal football monarchy, just charge.
Yeah.
But with changes in the coaching, in the way they do things, they start to be more sensible with how they do their pressing. They press at the right times. They set up they block passing lanes. They do all sort of stuff. They're more subtle about the pressing now. So when they need to press, like Mane's second goal, for instance, it's sudden, it's fast, and it's effective, as opposed to perhaps running like a headless chicken half the time with some of the pressing. And like I said, now this is the next step where like, okay, we know we have this dominance now as a team. So let's work on that and continue to be more dominant. Let's not keep chasing games. You don't have to do that now. We know we're going to get most possession. Let's use the possession to our advantage.
Exactly. And as we've already stated, there's no need in chasing the league because Everton have already won it.
Absolutely, yeah. So this whole conversation was
2 games. They've won it.
Nick and 11, lads.
Yeah.
So one more game to talk about then, and perhaps it's the most noteworthy of the season so far. Palace 3, United 1. Lads, I loved watching this game. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't get to watch this in real time, but getting the updates from you made my evening.
Oh, it was something else. I have never seen the Man United team this bad, and I'm talking from terrible.
They were absolutely terrible. Like it was almost as if they like aimed to be as terrible as they possibly could be.
Do you know what it was? It looked like a team that had no preseason.
Well, they haven't had one. They've only had like 1 game. But
that's what it looked like, though. In fairness, it looked like they were woefully underprepared.
But even then, I mean, why play all these players then? Like he played Pogba. Pogba like 3 weeks ago had the plague, and he got fielded.
Yeah, I know.
Have you guys heard this? That Donny van der Beek, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard like his most recent interview, or like there was something about it that like basically he was just like he arrived to training and he was like, "Oh, this isn't the warm up. This is the pace of training." Like he's already kind of going, "Oh, this is a step down in intensity."
Is that not the Sanchez interview you're thinking about?
No, Van der Beek. I remember this. He said it in. It was talking about the Dutch. He was talking to the Dutch papers, I think, and he was talking about the difference between the Ajax and United training. And he said like the Ajax one is intense, but of course the double meaning behind that was that the United training wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it certainly showed like because Jesus, Zaha and Townsend made fucking mincemeat out of the back four.
Like when you've got Townsend doing bits against you, just hang up your fucking boots.
Yeah, no, but I would say when you've got Zaha doing bits against you, you know, fucking hang up your fucking boots because, like last season, Zaha was shot. Yeah. Actually, Palace was shot. You know, they were the worst team of the restart.
Yeah, officially, yeah.
They were officially the worst team at the restart. They took 5 points from a potential 24 after the restart. They were terrible. Yeah. They were utterly garbage. They were in the bin, literally in the bin. And for them to just walk you, I mean, be aware, like United's 1 goal came in the 80th minute after Palace had scored all 3 of theirs.
Yeah.
Palace were 2-0 up. Then United scored, and then 5 minutes later, Zaha notched up the 3rd one. So, like, it wasn't as if, they scored 1 and then just Palace just kind of, rope-a-doped them and whacked in 3 in the last 10 minutes or something shit like that.
No, it was not that. No. It was a comprehensive victory from Palace. They controlled the game. They were playing at the home team.
Schlupp was all over Maguire. Shaw was just not helping him out at all whatsoever.
Yeah. Mitchell was fucking great. Tyrick Mitchell. He's good. I like him.
So good. So fucking
very
good.
Much in the Wan-Bissaka mold, which is kind of ironic considering.
Yeah, it really is. But like, I was just looking at United going, this is like hundreds of millions of pounds worth of players. It's like, how the fuck are they playing this badly? They were terrible. Like, I don't think, like, everybody, like, And nothing's been warming my cockles in my heart more than Man United, because I've a good few Manchester United supporting friends and I follow them all on Twitter. So nothing's been warming the cockles in my heart than seeing the absolute vitriolic spiel that is Man United Twitter.
Yeah,
but my God,
I was about to mention that.
But they're all like, sign Sancho, sign Sancho, sign Sancho. I was like, Sancho's not going to help this shit out. Your defense is garbage. What is he going to go? Is he going to slot him at the back? Is he going to replace Eric Bailly? Is he going to partner fucking Maguire? What the fuck? What do you expect, Sancho? There's probably a reason why Sancho hasn't agreed to sign for Manchester United, and that's because he's watched them.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Like if I was Sancho, and I was like, right, cool. Maybe Solskjaer is kind of big. Look, we're in team in transition. We're building up. You know, maybe some results aren't going to come in, but we want to build our team around you, and that's enough to get a player over an initial hump of bad performances.
Yeah.
But my God, if he's been watching Manchester United for the last few weeks, last few months, he's nuts.
Yeah. Like, on a sporting decision, when you have Dortmund with this absurd golden age of talent, and you have United with Chris Smalling, like, that's the decision made, isn't it?
The best defender.
No, he's not. He's fourth choice at this rate.
Fuck. But he is.
He's first choice.
The best defender.
Yeah.
He's first choice, but only because, like, they literally don't have any other options.
Oh, terrible. Terrible. It's absolutely shocking.
The only way, like, Sancho would sign for United is if he accidentally watched the women's team.
Yeah, that's fair, yeah.
Like, wow, this Kristen Press girl is good. Yeah, I want to join in with that.
Tobin Heath, he sounds like a good player.
Mary Earp sounds like a competent goalkeeper.
That's what's it like, and I think...
better than this De Gea thing I keep hearing about. What's she like?
It's funny because, like, it's like, well, we've got, like, maybe 2 weeks left in the window now, and United look like they're going to sign nobody. Like, I've been seeing a lot, like, they've missed out on Reguilón, who went to Spurs. They've missed out on Thiago. They've missed out on, ranks of players. Like,
I understand, like, right, Thiago going to Liverpool instead of you. Right, fine. Liverpool, yeah. You know, I get it. They're the current league champions, Champions League champions, all that shit, right? But if you're missing out the Spurs, like, come on. Like, I wouldn't even...
Outbid by Spurs.
This is what I was saying about maybe Sancho. The reason why Sancho's not signing is because he's watched him. Reguilón is only on everybody's radar because in the Europa League, he was slicing up Manchester United's defence like it was fucking warm butter.
Yeah.
So maybe he's like, what? You want to sign? I'm not signing up for this. This is garbage. I spent an entire game waltzing through your defence like it was fucking not there. It mightn't needn't have been there. Why would you turn around and go, oh, here, do you want to be a part of this? I was like, no.
It's like being on the lifeboat and going, would you like to come back onto Titanic? No, you're quite all right. I'll take my chances.
Absolutely. Like, it's like the Titanic, the captain of the Titanic asking the iceberg, do you want to be a part of this operation? You know, it's terrible. Like, it's just terrible. Yeah, I very much would not be surprised if they hit the end of the fucking...
I don't think he will because, like, I was hearing because the left back they're now looking for is Alex Telles from Porto, and I had in my head, I was convinced in my head he was going to sign for Wolves because, you know, he's Portuguese. But by
the way, that is actually quite a reasonable assumption.
That is
you should not blame yourself for that. That is a reasonable assumption.
Yeah. The thing with that though is, right, he's the story going around about that is that United have only bid 15 million for him. And Porto want double that.
Like,
and they're not willing to spend
is lowballing. When Woodward, the most notorious, I'll buy that. When he's lowballing shit, like, you're fucked. You're up. Like, that's when shit's going wrong.
It is. And like I said, we'll check back with United.
The Manchester United Hindenburg impersonation is going to be fun to watch.
And do you know why? Because Ole is at the wheel.
He's at the wheel, baby.
Yes. So, with that in mind, then, we will have, because we had 2 weeks of football, we have 2 weeks of hot VAR content. So, let's see what's happening in VAR Wars.
Pew, 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 pew.
That took a while to click in.
Yeah. Always does, doesn't it? So, we've had a quiet one and then a busy one in VAR Wars. The first match day only had one thing to talk about, and that was between Palace and Southampton. First off, Southampton earn a point because of Kyle Walker-Peters' red card being rescinded after the referee looked at it and said, actually, no, you didn't mean to kill Tyreek Mitchell there. You get your yellow card. Palace, on the other hand, they get a point taken away from them as the Zaha scored a goal and was ruled off for offside. So that was at -1 for them. Match they do, on the other hand, was fucking busy. Let's start off with Brighton, shall we? They have a 0 altogether, but it's cancelled out because the second Maupay goal was given by VAR after an offside check. Trossard was shown to be marginally onside, but then it was a -1 for Yves Bissouma's Sweet Chin Music, which was VAR approved. So they get a 0 for that in total. Bad luck, Brighton, but you know, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, I think is the...
You'll not get extra points for the HBK impersonation. Whoopah!
No, but there's the insurance that Basuma is indeed a sexy boy and is not your boy toy.
There we go. That's what I was asking for.
Because as you saw from his play, he thinks he's cute, he thinks he's sexy, and so forth. Chelsea then, right, in their game against Liverpool, obviously Andreas Christensen was sent off for a last man back challenge. That was VAR approved, so they get a -1 to start off this season.
One of the most pointless last man back challenges ever.
It was a great rugby tackle, though. It was like he was playing Mr. President. It was great. Everton then, they start off their season with a +1 as they the first Calvert-Lewin goal was VAR approved because initially they thought it was offside because Richarlison hit the ball first. And then obviously that would make Calvert-Lewin offside. But it was seen then that it was actually came off a Bromley defender last. Therefore, Calvert-Lewin we played on, and so the goal was given. So that's a point for them. Moving on then to Sheffield United. They got a -1 from the John Egan red card. Very similar to Christensen. It was last man back challenge, VAR approved. So it's a -1 for them. Southampton then got a point, which was a VAR approved penalty from a handball, apparently from Matt Doherty, who is having a smashing time at Spurs, lads. I'm sure you agree.
I just love that because it is an absolute ridiculous handball rule. But this is exactly what the women had to deal with in the World Cup. So I'm kind of glad that it's getting the focus of the mainstream media, I suppose you could say.
Lindelof was done dirty from that as well in the United game, because his arm got brushed off his arm, and it was like they've done this thing where sleeve versus sleeveless rule now over what is handball. And it's like I can see the logic, but like in real time, good luck judging that. Like, you know, it's going to take you 3 minutes. But the biggest winners from VAR so far this season is Palace, who got 2 points on the match day. Obviously, I mentioned the Lindelof handball, which was VAR approved penalty wise, and then finally the second point was for De Gea coming off his line and fucking being and having the penalty retaken. So,
did they not get bonus points because that led to quite possibly the greatest video clip I have seen on Twitter?
I have not factored in the Goldbridge.
Years. Because I pinged this to you on Twitter and it was the Mark Goldbridge fucking...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's... God.
It is great.
It's so fucking good.
He's bloody missed it.
Back your man. Get in there. Fucking yeah. What?
Oh, you are absolutely joking. You are absolutely joking.
It's just brilliant. It's just so
excellent.
So
great, man. What a man. So, yes, we currently do have a leader of VAR Wars at the moment, and it's Southampton, leading by 2. Currently on the board is Palace and Everton at 1, and then a few teams on -1, which is Sheffield and Chelsea. So, good job, lads. Keep up the good work, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, how about that? Let's go with that. So then, lads, let's end off the podcast as we are doing now with seemingly with the Hand of Cod.
This fella Ronaldo is a cod. I don't care what it is.
I can't believe I'm listening.
You know it's beautiful. Don't deny it.
I'm spending precious minutes of the one life I have on this earth listening to this fucking shit. I've only one life. All of these are seconds, minutes I'm not getting back.
There is one solace in life, and the fact that you'll never get those 46 seconds back. As always with the Hand of Cod, we are going to serve up something that's annoyed us over the week of football. And this week, I want to start off by talking about Tim Sherwood. It's not something I normally say. I mean, yes, it is in fact the year 2014. We're talking about Tim Sherwood. No, I don't know if anyone has seen this. I have maybe pinged this to you before. But Tim Sherwood has done this, is doing this kind of Premier League preview for the actual Premier League channel. They always get like kind of punters on to talk relevant like shit about the certain clubs and all that.
And why are they getting Tim Sherwood on?
I have no idea because we're talking about Arsenal. And he was there. He was available. I think it's a fair
thing that happened.
He was a thing that happened. And alongside they had Melissa Reddy who's an actual football journalist and an actual football writer who does research and knows what she's talking about. But because obviously she's a woman, her opinion is completely nullified in the eyes of every gammon on Twitter and on the internet.
Yeah.
And up against Tim Sherwood, who wears a gilet.
Yes. And obviously because he wears a gilet and therefore, and also crucially has a penis, his opinion is more valued by the gammons of Twitter. And this is basically the crux of my argument, is that like Tim Sherwood got fucking dunked on live television. Numerous times. And I think the reason I wanted to bring this up was that like there is this kind of ties into what happened with Soccer Saturday. We didn't really mention it in the season preview because why would we? But basically, most of the lads that were doing that, the Tiss, Charlie Nicholas, and Thompson, they've all been let go by they got fired or sacked by Sky Sports, or perhaps they just got their contracts dissolved, whichever the fuck it is. So basically, Merson is the only one to survive the cut there. And basically, everyone kind of saw this as an agenda against straight white men. And it's just like
I just want to jump on this because like it was rumored that Alex Scott could get the role on Gillette Soccer Saturday, and they went absolute mental because not only was it going to be a woman, it was going to be a black woman.
Yeah,
black woman. Talking about our sport, as in this is what the gammon are saying. And then a black man, in terms of Mika Richards, who is an excellent pundit in his own right.
Fucking gas.
Like, he's a better pundit than he is a footballer. And I think he was a decent footballer. Like, I don't actually bear him any ill will.
No, he was great.
So just jumping on this, like, Alex Scott, I remember, like, she was actually hanging out with Leah Williamson. And they were, like, on each other's Instagrams, like, posting pictures of them just hanging out. And then Leah puts up a picture and she's like, when you tell Alex she's trending on Twitter, and it's just a face of her looking really inquisitive, and then it's just like Alex Scott then later on put up a picture as like, when you're afraid to ask why you're trending on Twitter. And then when she found out, and she was like, well, I know nothing about this. My name has just been touted by someone saying it's probably going to be fucking Alex Scott.
That's all it was, by about like 100,000 people at the same time.
And it's just like, I'm so sick of Alex Scott being shoved in our faces all the time. I'm like, sorry, like there is nothing wrong with that image being shoved in my face.
Keep it to yourself, Burkbot, all right, Jesus.
I'm just saying. But
right.
No, like, the Gammon Brigade, they would rather have COVID denier Matt Letitia commenting on football than someone who's actually an intellectual.
This is the thing, right? Because having Sherwood and Reddy there on the same panel really kind of showed the two different flavors of pundits you're getting on TV. You have like the punter, the guy who like speaks his brain and has his opinion, and coincidentally was a Premier League footballer for a time. In fact, he won a Premier League. Like, of course, he has to know. He must, if he won a Premier League in 1994, he must know about football in the year 2020. So obviously to have him on. And obviously he managed Premier League teams, so he must have some semblance of knowledge in the field. And then on the other side, you have Melissa Reddy, whose entire career about journalism and writing and investigative, all this sort of stuff, has been about football. She's written books about football. She dedicates herself to an actual club of Liverpool, has written nothing but fantastic pieces about it, and does great interviews. But again, the whole idea of punditry is that like people are sharing their opinion. Therefore, somehow Sherwood's one is seen as the more favourable for TV and other shit, when clearly there is a sway now to actually have people who know their stuff talk about this on television. Because shockingly, that's what we're all wanting to get, is actual information and news and analysis, because that's the way we digest stuff anymore. And what I love about it is that Reddy knew her stuff, and she had this cracking line, which was, "I'm not a scoreline journalist," which was like getting sparked out in the fucking third round by Glitchko in terms of like lines to say to a pundit, right? Because like I said, she never consider herself a pundit. She's a journalist. She's an analyst.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like when this happens, then Sherwood just doesn't have a response. It just comes back to the old point of like, I don't know if you can do it in the Premier League, which is
absolutely, it's ridiculous.
Which is what they say to every foreign player who arrives in the Premier League. Like fucking hell, like bring out the fucking bingo cards, lads. And again, and you mentioned Micah Richards there earlier on, and I want to show appreciation for him because Sky did this kind of weird thing where they kind of broke the fourth wall for a bit, and I don't understand why, because like it's not like them to basically dunk on their own audience, but they really were. Because like, obviously they were pissed off about the fact that they were made such a fuss about Soccer Saturday, when in actuality all they've done is let go of like three old men who've been in the job for 25 years for fresh blood, for new opinions, for new viewpoints, and again, more women.
I wouldn't even mind, but for good viewpoints. Like,
yeah,
if they were hiring in complete fucking bums, I'd be like, all right, then fine. Like, but Alex Jones knows what she's fucking talking about.
Or Scott, even.
Like Scott, you mean?
Oh, Alex Scott, Jesus.
If Alex Jones was signed by Sky Sports, fuck me. That's a very different
I was actually watching something on him, that's why it clicked into my yeah, Alex Scott, like, she knows what she's fucking talking about.
Yeah.
Micah Richards is pretty much the most positive man on TV.
Yes.
Have you seen the thing where he got locked in a dressing room for 90 minutes before going out and doing the show, and like was like, I don't know whether he was like Instagramming his whole experience of like, I'm trapped in the room, I don't think I'm gonna make it out in time, or whether people were just like, where's Micah Richards?
Yeah, he got there for like 2 minutes to spare before going live.
Yeah.
It's great.
Like, that's just the kind of the guy he is. He'd probably laugh the door open.
But this is the thing, like, and this is what I love. Again, this is what I liked about Sky's decision to let go of these lads. As much as like Soccer Saturday is a bit of crack, the reality is like no one's gonna be watching Soccer Saturday because the TV times have all changed. There's no 3 p.m. kickoffs anymore. It's all staggered over a weekend.
They've stopped the 8 p.m. kickoffs now because they're fucking ridiculous.
I think they've only stopped that because of the pubs being closed at 10.
Yeah, the pub's being closed at 10.
Yeah, it's bollocks. So like it in a sense, I like what they're doing in terms of just like challenging their audiences to cop the fuck on. But it's also like, and again, going back full circle now with Tim Sherwood, he's a personification of like the easy pundit. It's just like, he's a name that people know. Let's not ask him for his opinion. Let's just have him on a match.
Yeah.
Rather than leave the actual analysis to the experts. So like for me, Sherwood is a kind of personification of a gammon pundit. I'm sure he's not gammon himself. He might be. I never asked the guy personally, but for me, like he's the kind of guy that these people want to see because he's a straight white man and has no opinion. Or if the opinion he has is so obvious, he might as well just be saying, "Well, if you know about Arsenal, they do tend to walk it in, don't they? That Arsenal, you know?
Yeah,
you might as well
to break out that one.
Typical Arsenal, you know. You imagine just him saying that, and everyone claps with like how groundbreaking his analysis is. You know, tune in for his piece in The Athletic coming next week.
Or he'd be like, I made Harry Kane.
I fucking found him. Kane. Oh, boy. So, Neil, your point is in a somewhat similar vein. Talk to us about Arsenal Twitter.
It's Arsenal Twitter and Arsenal journalists. Basically, if Mesut Ozil did not exist, it would be necessary for the press to have invented him. To bastardize a Voltaire quote.
He was talking about central attacking midfielders at the time.
Pretty much.
Hmm.
It's just it's the whole Ozil thing. It's just gotten tiresome now. Like, he's not been in the team for fucking months. Why did they keep asking him? I mean, they were just asking him, and they know they're not going to get anything out of they know they're not going to get anything out of Arteta or Edu or anybody else.
Yeah.
And it's terrible why they just keep trotting it out. And the Twitter fans are just buying into it hook, line, and fucking sinker. And it's just terrible. It's absolutely awful. It's garbage. And I hate it. I really, really hate it.
Can I jump on and just say, like, the Arsenal admin who run, like, the Twitter accounts and the Instagram accounts, like, if there's training photos, we'll always have pictures of Mesut Ozil training. And you get all the Mesut Ozil fanboys being like, woo, can't wait to see you back. And it's like, dude, relax, it's not going to happen. And then it's like, it's reported as, fans excited to see, Mesut Ozil play against Fulham are devastated. And, let's ask we get Mikel Arteta's, opinions on why Ozil's training and not being played. And it's just like, I'm the fucking coach. I'm making a decision based on the player and who's in front of me. Fuck off.
Exactly. Yeah. And every single fucking pundit who thinks that they know better than a Mikel Arteta, despite the fact that he's very, very clearly demonstrated that he knows more than most other people about what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's just like, look, I can't, like, I just can't keep answering fucking. He's just going to crack midway through. They're going to break him. He's going to break him midway through.
His hair finally gets tousled, just like one spray hair.
And he's just going to go, and he's just going to go, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm not playing him because he's a prick.
Yeah, he just exposes him for being a weirdo or something like that. Like,
not even that. It's very obvious why he's not being played. It's just they keep asking questions. They know the answers to these questions. Just haven't been told the answers to these questions, but they know the answers.
The thing is, there's going to be a tell-all book in about 10 years' time, which is where we'll actually get the full-on description of what
the thing about it is that, like, if these football journalists and football pundits were any which way, shape or form the footballing experts that they claim to be, they'd already know the answers to why Ozil isn't in this team. Just look at the way this team plays and contrast it with the way Ozil plays, and you'll find that the two just don't go together. And then you realise that's why he won't press with the team. And the thing about a team press, is that if all it takes is one player for it to break down, and if your press breaks down, the opposition almost always get a goal-scoring opportunity.
Yes.
That's why it's so important to break the press. So, like, if you've got one player who just resolutely will not do that, resolutely will not track back, will not do anything of the sort, then you've got fucking... you're screwed. You can't play that player. You can't play that player.
Precisely. It's funny you should mention this because, like, you have, like, we've had matches before where Ozil is specifically targeted, right, to be, like, marked and, like, pressed out of it. Like, Brendan Rodgers has gone on record several times when he was playing Arsenal. The one player he targeted out of everybody in the team was Ozil. Like, he literally set up a diamond field around him to entrap the player in order to actually fucking, like, get the ball off him and then charge around him because he knew he was not going to do that job. So, like, it's very obvious to do that. And it's a weakness in the team, especially from the way they set up and now how they play. So once you get onto that fucking aspect of it, then yeah, of course he's not on the team because you're just making yourself actively worse by doing so. So yeah, no, I completely accept Neil's point. Burkbot, let's move on to your one then. Tell me why you've selected Phil Neville. Again.
Shockingly, I have.
What's he done now?
Well, he's manager of England women. Yeah, we're all aware of this point.
Really, I didn't know that. This is completely new information to me.
And he has lost a football match as manager of England women, or England Lionesses, against the England Lionesses. While there was an international break going on, right. Lots of the teams around Europe were playing European qualifiers. And I will talk briefly about that in a minute. But Phil Neville's England Lionesses team are already qualified because they host it.
Yeah.
So they couldn't get any friendlies around this time. I suppose COVID-related issues there. So he had an extra large training camp and played 2 matches, 11v11 of England squads.
I was wondering why, because I remember seeing the England squad announcement go up, and it was fucking huge. And a lot of the Liverpool players were kind of made the cut. Now, again, I don't necessarily mean there's a bad thing, but players like Babajibe got called up, and I was thinking, is she English? I thought she declared for someone else. And then, like, Furness was announced, and fucking Lynette was announced. Like, okay, not players I would have expected for an England squad, but fair enough, we'll take them. Like, go for it.
Well, our new re-signing, Lottie Wubben-Moy, also got the call up, and she's just moved back from Florida, so that's good as well. But what was interesting is he played 2 matches, and they basically had a system where it's like they played the home and away kit.
Yeah.
And he played the first match in the home kit and the second kit in the away kit, or vice versa. I'm not entirely sure.
Right.
But I just know that he lost to his assistant coach in both of his games. Like,
oh my. That's a bit embarrassing, in fairness.
No, it is. It is. I don't know all too much about the squads and who he picked and whatnot. I was focused, I suppose, more on the Ireland qualifiers during the international break. But I just do love that stat that he lost both his matches against his assistant manager in the preseason or in the international break. So I just think he can't even beat himself and his own team. Like he's just useless.
But doesn't it show so much that like he's so bad at setting up a team that like okay, I know it's almost like a kind of a playground thing where like I pick this player first and you pick that one.
Yeah.
But obviously he's got dibs on who he wants to pick first. So like he'll pick his 11, right? His assistant then picks up everything that's left behind. So like Phil Neville could very well have chosen like 7 strikers and like 2 goalkeepers or whatever the fuck, and then like the assistant has to deal with nothing but defenders. And clearly, whatever team was left behind was better to win both games.
Better tactically.
Better tactically. Yeah. Like it's okay. Yeah. Like listen, this is not fucking news. Like I mentioned last week about Gareth Southgate and how woefully incompetent he is. I think this is the thing with England coaches generally, that they're just really bad at what they do. Fucking A.D. Boothroyd is butchering the under-21s when they have like one of the best generations they've ever had. And again, Gareth Southgate is making a tits of the Euros at the moment, the qualifications, and Phil Neville is thankfully out of a job anyway, but he's still gonna be there for another fucking year, and he's just gonna cause more damage for the incumbent coach to come in, like, you know. So
yeah,
it's not great.
like Weigman is gonna have some fun picking out her, who hasn't been decimated by Phil Neville's incompetence.
And fairness, once Weigman takes over, like that's a nice fresh start because she is a very good attacking coach. She's managed great players in the past, so she knows how to get the best out of the elite in that squad. But as I said, it's the interim is the problem. It's him being there for another fucking year. Like that's the issue.
And just a brief note before we finish up: Ireland played Germany in the Euro qualifiers and didn't make a disgrace of ourselves.
Well, most of them
we didn't. No, we didn't.
No, we lost 3-0. But as I have mentioned, the goalkeeper did not cover herself in glory.
No.
But like we were impressive, and anytime we were on the break, we had them bet for pace. So it was, they should be proud of their performance. Germany have won 8-0, 8-0, and 13-0, or whatever it is, in the last few matches. So 3-0 defeat away isn't too bad, and if we can do something against Ukraine, we can in next month.
Doesn't that leave us second in the group?
Yeah, we're second in the group, and we are actually, if you look at the other second place teams in the other groups, we are quite highly ranked amongst them, and the top 3 second place teams automatically qualify. The others go into a playoff, and looking at who else is currently in the second places that we could potentially go into playoffs with, I would fancy our chances.
Yeah, like by and large, like we do have a really good team compared to everyone else. So like I think we could automatically qualify. Even a draw, I think probably a draw against Ukraine would do us. And I know we have to play Germany at home anyway, so we could do it. Like it's definitely possible. It's just like if we can win against Ukraine,
possible.
If we can beat Ukraine away. Fuck me. That's us.
A
home and
crappy
hosed.
1-0
That's great.
scuffed shot across Enkezia bundle into the net. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, absolutely.
McCabe runs out from the goal line, having been subbed in for the goalkeeper, and then just slots it in top right-hand corner.
Well, I'll just be there Googling, can Megan Campbell score from a long throw? Yeah, no, apparently she can. That's good.
And
McCabe
actually,
is the world's first striker come goalkeeper.
Yes.
Megan Campbell is back in full contact training with Man City at the minute. So
all coming together, lads. It's all coming together. It's what's going to happen. I'm looking forward to it. So last thing for us to do then. Yeah, last thing for us to do then is to dish out who we think is the cod. I'm going to go for Phil Neville.
I'm going to go for Phil Neville.
Oh, monomatic winner. Yeah, it had to be him. Like, to lose to your own fucking team, to your own squad, is disgraceful. That's embarrassing. Like, that's an extra level of fuck-uppery, that is.
Like, I think the only other person who could have managed that feat if he'd ever had the chance would have been Tim Stillman, who would have been my pick.
Or Tim Sherwood, of course.
Sorry. Oh, shit, not Stillman. Jesus. Oh, this is almost like the Alex Jones thing earlier.
You fuckers are slipping
Alex
here.
Jones.
Oh, man, come on.
I think we're just sleepy. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's what I did. Let's blame it on that.
Oh, I am so sleepy.
I wonder why, Neil. I don't understand why you could be so fatigued right now. It's just,
my dreamy movement.
Yes.
I'm
Anyway, gentle reminder, this is an audio format and no one knows what we're doing.
That's okay. The baby knows what I'm doing.
Yes, of course.
Yes, he does.
She sure does. Anyway, that is our podcast, guys. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with more of the same. Hopefully, we'll have some very nice hot takes from the double dose of our Liverpool Arsenal coming next week, which should be fun for everyone involved.
We definitely won't fall out.
Yeah, I know. It'll be nice and sporting, and everything will be lovely until
everything will be lovely
until someone gets tonked 4-0, probably, whoever that may be. So until then, guys, by all means, give us a follow on our Spotify if you enjoyed this podcast or enjoyed any of our ones.
Smash the like and subscribe, guys.
Indeed, if you enjoyed this or our Jellyfield Donut podcast, by all means, hit the follow button for more of the same. Perhaps you're watching the video version of this on Nerds or Us, and if so, give us a subscription there as well, because we're, sister channel.
Video version on my dancing. What?
It's a tech. It's a
Oh, I know.
overlay.
I'm joking.
Fucking...
I know things.
Anyway,
I get jokes.
Do you fucking get jokes? So yes, we'll be back then next week with the same. So for myself, Dancing Burpbot, Sleepy Neil, and the crying baby. Yes, we'll see you next time, lads, because all of that was liquid football.
Woo!